savannah rather than pasture raised. Maybe we go savannah raised. Savannah raised chickens. Okay, another delivery done. It's a stressful thing, you know. Just a reminder of the process. So we wanted 200 new chickens at the site. Ultimately, another 200 early in the next year for a total of 500 chickens on site here. And the thing with COVID that's happened with chickens is that a lot of people have got into chicken farming, particularly layers, because it's quite a low barrier to entry and it's a great way to start farming. Some people done it out of passion and the will to get into the production of food, but also some people just out of necessity. What that's meant is that there's a greater demand than there is supply. And as with any opportunity like that, a lot of people have jumped into the game, not all reputable. And unfortunately, a lot of chickens bought on Gumtree and Facebook are part of greater scams. And a lot of people have lost money and or bought chickens that are not of the right quality and certainly you could argue have not been raised ethically with animal welfare in mind. So we've been very careful about where we purchase our chickens. But what that means is that there's quite a process to getting the chickens. So they come from Mpumalanga. We're based in Joburg and have to get them to Welkom. So on our move day, the chickens arrive at about 9 o'clock in Johannesburg. So they've been on the road for 2.5, 3 hours from Mpumalanga. My concern is always of the animals and their welfare. And so I do everything I can to be first in line to make sure that all of the supplementary things I need to bring down are already in place and that we can literally just load chickens and start driving. We hit a roadblock, or there was some accident on the highway, so we had to divert. And again, I'm just stressing the entire time, it's a hot day, are the chickens going to make it? And they all did, which is amazing. The team here at the mine were fantastic. Everyone was waiting. We literally did the offload and them into their new chickshaws in like super quick time. So it was great. We really limited the amount of exposure that the chickens had. What we're going to do now is keep them in their coops. What we want them to do is to establish and to know that the chickshaw is home. They've never seen one before. They've come from a breeding environment which is very different to where they are now. So in order for them to understand that this is home and for us to have the management of these chickens in the future minimized, we need them to understand that the chickshaw is where they reside. So we leave them in the chickshaw for 4 days now, just so that they acclimatize, so that they get to know that this is their safe place. And after that, we'll let them out onto pasture. So for the next few days, they'll be fed and watered inside the coops, after which obviously on a daily basis they're free to roam and scrounge around in the veld and in the grass here to pick up bugs and alternative feed. So now that those chickens are up there, the weight is off the shoulders and the chickens have been delivered safely without any losses. I've come to now inspect the original crew, the original flock that we have of the high lines. The new chickens are Lohman Browns. Yeah, diversity is always good, as we know, but the choice, to be honest, was more just around supply and what was available. So we've broken it up. We'll see now on the next batch of 200 how we go. 50 of those might be reserved for some very unique chickens. Watch this space. We've got some amazing branding and marketing ideas. But come to look at the old girls, the Susans as we call them. Susan is the caretaker here. She is the farmer. She's the lady looking after the chickens. She has the primary responsibility and she's doing a fantastic job. And so we came to look at the original Susans and I'm so chuffed with how this is working. One of the things we've had to get better at is moving the chickens on pasture. So the chickshaws are mobile, designed as such so that they are easily moved on pasture and we don't create a barrier to movement, because if there's any resistance to moving them, like too much work, then it's not going to get done and then we're going to end up doing the opposite of what we're trying to do, which is to build soil, not destroy the land. And chickens can be destructive. So it's a delicate balance and we need to keep moving them. But what I'm chuffed about is that we're learning the frequency of move here, getting to know the land a bit better and how often we need to move the chickens. And you can see when they get to a new spot like this, how they're foraging around in the longer grass. They just seem happier, they seem more lively. This is a great spot. I mean, all the acacia karus here, the sweet thorns, it just creates such an amazing backdrop. Our Savannah raised chickens are moving more regularly now, and we're seeing an amazing response, both in the chickens themselves as well as the land. In patches they've been on before, and after these rains, the land has literally responded so positively. It's just amazing to see. Then the other really cool thing here is that Susan, on her own initiative, is taking scrap from the kitchen and from the food garden. So and another incredible initiative that this mine has undertaken is to have food gardens, and they've developed those over time, and we've highlighted that a little bit in our videos. But in essence, very difficult on a mine. You're starting at literally base zero, where there's no nutrients in the soil, and having to build that up, and that's been another incredible success story here. And there's food now coming off this mine. It's been grown here for the staff, and the scraps of that are ending up here as supplementary chicken feed. So these chickens are getting a varied diet, and it's just incredible. It's going circular. We're getting to close some loops here, and again, it's just really incredible and amazing. And then lastly, as part of this update, farming doesn't come without its challenges and predators, particularly when you pasture raising, Savannah raising chickens, or any livestock, is the threat of predators, and it's one that always sort of remains in the back of your mind when doing this kind of farming. And part of that is we try and mitigate that risk as much as possible, and the electric poultry netting is a big component, big tool that we utilize to ensure the safety of the animals. And then again, there are things that sometimes outside of your control happen, or you pay some school fees as you learn. And we have lost some chickens. We lost one to a predator. We're wondering if it's a meerkat, or not entirely sure, but that's the first predator issue we've had, and it seems to be isolated, which is great. We've lost a couple of chickens to health issues, where we think we got the ratio of feed wrong. We're not entirely certain, but all in, we are left with, a year later, 92 chickens out of the 100 starting chickens. And although we never want to accept any loss, it's based on the experimental nature of this project, plus the fact that it is outdoor and on pasture, and the inherent risks reside here. I'm actually really chuffed with that. And the thing is if we adjust our calculations based on the new number of chickens, which I haven't actually been doing in the recent past, is that our laying ratio is just going through the roof. I don't know if it's a summer thing. I think partially we can attribute that to the change in weather, more conducive for the chickens to lay. But the feed, the ratio, the movement frequency, all of these things seem to be coming together, and we now have a laying ratio of over 1, which means that we're getting at least an egg per day per chicken, sometimes quite a bit more. So that's just incredible. That's just amazing. The egg quality is phenomenal. Non-GMO diet, truly free range, pasture raised, Savannah run chickens, eating a non-GMO diet, getting varied diet from bugs and grubs and other proteins, and getting garden scraps from the food garden. They're dust bathing, they're out in the sun as chickens should be. They provided all the security and safety that they could wish for. They have shade under the chick shores to get away from the midday heat, and the results are there, and it's so rewarding, and it's amazing, and I'm really grateful to be part of this project with the forward thinking mine. It's amazing. Here with the eggs.
Yeah, they've grown because now we have making large.